you know, the style of our parents back in the days is not the style for today for children. Because if you tell a child, don't watch this, why, mom? Because I said so, they will look for a day you're not there to watch it.
Welcome to Just Angie. This is Mwangi Monday, and today is the last Monday of the month. We are continuing with our conversation on how the role of content shapes society. And so I'm thinking about we as gatekeepers, and we have told people, taken them through a journey of how content shapes society. But now let's come home. Let's come into our spaces, our ecosystems. There are different ways that we find ourselves having to deal with content that's trying to shape our ecosystem. I mean, I know you have children, and you're very big about intentional parenting. How do you feel like you having the background of what media as agenda setting is affects the way you treat content in your ecosystem?
Wow, what a great question. I'll just say again what I said earlier. Knowledge is very key. And for me, even how I do parenting in terms of how they interact with content and what they are digesting. You've just said right now, we are gatekeepers at the same time. Your eyes are gates, your ears are gates, you know, what you're consuming and digesting as content is affecting you in a in a very, you know, tactical way.
Yeah.
And you may think it's not affecting you, but it's affecting you, either positively or negatively. So our children interact with content almost on a daily basis, you know, whether it's on cartoons, whether it's on games, like now for the young ones between, I think, 8 to 12, there's in some game online, and so much is happening in terms of content. So it is very important that we become more intentional about raising our children and be involved in what they are getting into digesting online, because the content that is being put online is not always child friendly at the end of the day. And sometimes you can see the children watching a content that is very innocent, but the communication that is being, you know, sent to them is not for them. So how do you do parenting in such a situation is that you have to be seeing what they are watching, you have to interact with what they are doing, so that you're able to see, okay, is that okay for them or is that not okay for them? And if it's not okay for them, you will not always be there. You know, the style of our parents back in the days is not the style for today for children. Because if you tell a child, don't watch this, why, mom? Because I said so, they will look for a day you're not there to watch it. That's the point. So how do you inform that child in a way that they understand what actually you are trying to raise here as a concern, so that next time if they are not with you and they're interacting with a similar content, whether it's on their friend's tablet or in their own tablets or in their own time, they're able to choose and say, this is not for me, and not interact with it. So that's how I look at it. So I really engage on any topic with my children, as long as it does not get them out of what they are, children. You understand? I mean, back in the days, I could not tell my mom, I like this boy. But today, you talk to a child of 10, 12 years old about the LGBT, for instance. Because at the end of the day, they interact with it. So it can't be a taboo subject anymore. It cannot. We have to really be more open to discuss these very sensitive conversations with our children, because that way we build their knowledge, and that way they have the tools to make the right choices for themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can add, because I remember like my nephew. So there was this period where Old Town Road by Lil Nas was such a hit, and all the children knew the lyrics.
Yes.
So I just looked at it from the point of view, I also enjoyed that music, but when I look at how it's like there was a setup, because all the children were ingrained and they were excited. All the parties had Old Town Road, and then now the content that Lil Nas is putting out, even parents were in uproar because they were like, surely is this the same person that put out this song that was child-friendly sort of, and now it's just become on another level, such overt sexuality and just images that are on the screen that make you wonder what's going on with this brother. So it's just that space where I think having that conversation, as Nina is saying, with our children, having an honest, open conversation and asking them questions, like like just also understanding who are your influences, who are your friends, just taking a keen interest. Because even there's another example of a singer in Kenya, I think he's in Form 1, his name is Trio, he's in the Gatekeepers music. He's in Form 1 right now. And I was watching a video with a Tanzanian artist, and there are a bevy of women who look like they're in their 20s upward, and they're all clad in bikinis and whatever else, and the stuff they're singing about is getting high and whatever else. And I'm like, this child is in Form 1, and he has such a following so far. So I'm like, if you're not having conversations with our children, I'm telling you that media will be the one that's shaping them. And you'll be wondering why they're doing stuff behind your back, or they're doing things that you have not, like because if you've perhaps dealt with it the way your parents dealt with it, like perhaps they swept it under the rag, or they didn't discuss if it was stuff to do with sex or drinking, or they stopped you from going out, for example, and whatever else, they'll be shaped by either their peers or their whatever it is that's appearing on the screens, and they're listening to.
And another actual
music.
tactic you can do as a parent, we think our children don't know much, but my God, they know so much.
They do.
Probably more than you know.
Yeah.
True. So before even you start saying, this is not good, find out what's their understanding of what they are watching. You'll be surprised of the things that they know. Now, we also have opportunities as parents to guide them. Oh, you like this football program? It doesn't work. Can we look at this other football program, for instance? So it gives you an opportunity even for you to sort of understand the environment in which your child is being, shaped, and participate in that process. We can't be parents who go 9 to 5 and come back and are never there. Your child will be shaped by media and the house help. That is the product you will have at the end. Yes. And their peers, of course.
That says a lot about us as a society, how even things like that, they start changing our culture, even our work culture, because then you realize you would rather be at home, you'd rather work from home and be present for the children than leave and work from the office and leave them at home with no supervision. So the content is out there. This 2020-2021 has opened up the idea, because I don't even think we used to look at it as feasible in Africa, that you can study from home. You can log on to a computer and there's a teacher on the other side and you study a course. But now we have been brought that idea, and I actually feel like some people are planning to keep it for the long haul because it's cheaper, you don't have to pay office rent and stuff like that. So I feel like the responsibility now comes back to us, where if you're in any space where there's anyone under the age of 18, you need to get into their business and find out what's on their table, what are they watching, how can you help them to understand content, how can you empower them to be able to make better decisions. Because also we see a research from the British Society in 2018 that what children are watching affects even their mental health. So when we're trying to raise nations of people who are aware, we have to take the responsibility and do the work. Thank you so much for engaging with us. This has been Mwenye Nchi Monday. See you next week.